Hello, hello, hello. Your local alien is back with another reaction to My Hero Academia. This time we've got Season 4, Episode 2. Last time on My Hero Academia, we had kind of a filler recap episode, but with some story in it. I doubt it's really going to matter in the long run unless the journalist comes back, but basically, we had a journalist guy who was interested in seeing who All Might's successor was. He interviewed all the classmates, and by all the classmates, I mean Deku. And then we saw little brief snippets of everybody else in passing. And then we had some emotional moments where, oh, he always looked up to All Might and he's looking forward to Deku being the next symbol of peace and blah blah blah. And I had a whole big spiel about the whole symbol of peace system. But anyway, it wasn't really an important episode unless that journalist guy comes back. But this episode, I believe, is called Overhaul, so that will feature the main villain of this season, according to everything that manga readers love to spoil for everybody else. So I still have not watched the movie, the one giving All Might's backstory. I'm probably just gonna watch that on my own time off camera, but if you want to see an unedited reaction of that, let me know and I'll consider it. But chances are it looks like I'll just be watching it on my own whenever. So if there's any references to that movie in this episode that I don't get, that's why I haven't seen it yet. But without further ado, let's just get into this. Season 4, Episode 2.
Superhuman society, with
this
about
is kind of
80%
like
of
the
the
real
population possessing
episode
some
1.
uncanny ability called a quirk. Those who stand up against villains who abuse their powers for evil are called heroes. They are our champions.
Nice track.
The next big thing I'm aiming for is to participate in a hero work-study program where I'll get the chance to serve under an actual pro at their agency.
Huh? Work study? I'm working on something else right now, so I can't help you out.
Dang.
Oh, wait.
I know that I've been useless. If I'm gonna be the #1 hero, then
I've got to work even harder.
You know that All Might can introduce you to a bunch of new people, right, kid?
First one who comes to mind is his former sidekick.
Right off the
His
bat.
name's Nida.
Reference to the movie. Right off the bat. Okay, I'm gonna watch the movie. I know I'm gonna get a lot of flack for this, but I just really feel that since season 3, this show has become very generic. God, like, if I keep it in editing, I did that eye roll when Deku was all, oh, I know I've been useless, blah blah blah. Because I knew it was coming. He's so predictable. He's such a typical, generic shonen protagonist. And even the opening is now just a typical shonen opening. I was gonna mention that I didn't remember it at all in the couple weeks since I watched the first episode. That's because it just isn't, it doesn't stand out among other shonen openings. It's just
The air's practically
typical.
made of dust.
The young head of the Shie Hasaikai. To what do we owe the pleasure?
So what, he's a gangbanger? A mobster?
of the whole gang. The old-timers always feared him, even after rumors of his death. Honestly, though, most people my age thought he was an urban
This
legend.
guy just sounds bored.
You can imagine the shock when
Like
he
he's
showed up
kind
in the
of
flesh.
just tired. Like, why do I have to be talking to these people?
But in the end, the big bad was thrown into Tartarus. So, who will step up to take their
Good
places?
pretty eyes though.
Even now, I'm gathering my troops. Our numbers continue to increase. With our combined power, I'll turn hero society to dust.
Sure, the like five
You
of
have
you.
an actual a goal without a plan is just a wish. Now, your group, on the other hand, has widespread
guys really
name
are pretty.
recognition.
I'm here because I don't want to be bound by anything. We're free to decide for ourselves exactly where we belong.
Just remember, you made the first
So,
move. Ugh, I'm filthy now.
dead or
That's
no?
why I hate the aftermath.
Compress! Wait!
No! I have
I
to
mean, I
see
guess
this
of
guy
all of
away!
them to die.
Why isn't my quirk work?
Shield!
This guy come from?
Now I get it.
Let me cut him, real quick.
She just sounds
responsibility.
psycho.
No.
Let me cut him.
Smart.
But the
They'd
sooner we
absolutely
talk, the
die,
better.
all of them.
Think things over carefully. Consider how
If
your
I
organization
were
should be run.
Overhaul, I wouldn't even be
Calm
offering
down.
Tomura
Pay for this. Why can't
this
I go after him?
opportunity. I would just straight up kill Tomura, maybe the others. I'd give them a chance to follow me, but if not, you're done for, because
Maybe we do have time
Tomura?
to make them bleed.
No.
oh, that's sensitive.
Come on, Tomura.
Oh, yeah, it is Tomura.
You failed again, didn't
But
you?
he's just so incompetent.
But
He's
do not be
childish.
discouraged. Simply begin
I just
again.
wouldn't even give him a
Start
chance.
over
I'd
as
just
many
be done with
times as
him.
you need. It's
At
for
least
you,
Overhaul
Tomura.
has
You need direction
shown
to achieve your goals.
from minute
And
one
I
that
have a plan.
one, he has
I
a
didn't
plan,
come
and
here
two, he
today
has
because I wanted to
competency,
join you.
and three, he has pretty eyes. So,
Aside.
so I'm guessing there's going to be a bit of a gang war.
Your teachers and the principal discussed them at the faculty meeting, and
But,
we all
like,
agree. It's too soon.
should
They
class-
should really be canceled.
Should a freshman class really be doing this?
But we
Isn't
already
this something
met
a
about
senior
them.
class
I
would
guess when you think about why we had to move into the dorms, it does make sense.
do? Is he
Because
rubbing
you wouldn't get to do one.
that guy's tail?
Some people
Would
think
you
we
rush
won't
tell?
be able to raise strong.
Wait, you want me to introduce you to Sir Night-Eye for the work-study
His
program?
eyes look
Yes,
extra
'cause he's one
hollow
of the
now.
few heroes that have worked directly under you. It's a perfect fit.
Yeah, stop yelling.
I think it's unnecessary for first years to start them so early.
I agree.
Exactly what I
we
was
support
just
any hungry
thinking.
students who want to go the
I was
extra
just
mile.
thinking about
Reason
that.
two,
Why are
you
freshmen
need to
doing
work on your
this?
shoot style. Let's master that before you start doing extra hero work.
And let's come up with a better name for it. Why is it called shoot style? All you're doing is using your feet.
Before he can use it, rely.
Kachum told me I'm not allowed to lose since someone like you laid the groundwork for me. And think about it. My quirk is so similar to yours.
Crazy, he wants to talk to me? Wonder what it's about.
Hey, Tokata, hey! What did you chew? Are you in trouble or something? What
business could
You
all
know,
night
he's so
have
cute,
with
like
you?
a smiley face, like Kirby.
But I've gotta go see. Get it? I'm completely clueless too.
Aw,
You've met young
Then you're like guaranteed to be his sidekick when you graduate.
Well, as long as Sir doesn't change his mind, yeah.
That's awesome!
because he was dead right. I ended up precisely where he warned me I'd be.
probably.
Do you think young Midoriya has what
Guy
it takes?
seems,
Oh, man,
based
that's
on
tough.
typical anime appearance, pretty smart.
Why don't you tell me what kind of hero you want to be?
I want to be the next symbol
There's
at
always a
peace.
smile on his face, no matter how bad things get. Even when everything looks impossible. Do you think
What's impossible is
I
those
can be a
tears.
hero?
That's why I have to become stronger.
At least he's starting to decide what kind of hero
was a
he
lot.
wants to be and not just copying All Might.
There's near constant laughter in the halls whenever he's around. And even if
Are you
he's
sure
under
it's with
test,
him
his
and not
smile
at him?
never disappears. Doesn't it sound like he aligns with your philosophies?
And he's blonde.
This kid.
I think he would have been better with All Might's power than Deku.
You should be thankful to the teachers. You got caught fighting with Midoriya, but they're still going to let you retake the exam.
Will you shut it?
We've got to catch up to our classmates soon.
I told you to shut your damn face and walk behind me, idiot!
Sir's actually a pretty strict guy.
I'm fully aware. He's a hero famous for being demanding on others as well as himself. His gaze is so harsh that it makes me shiver every time I see him on TV. He looks so severe.
That's absolutely true. But there's a totally different side of him that the press never gets to see.
Sounds
If you
like
wanna be
a
acknowledged
classic
by him, here's a
INTJ.
trick. You need to do one important thing at this meeting. You gotta make him laugh. Then he'll totally approve of you.
Oh,
Sounds
wait,
like
hold on.
a
What
drop
does
for
that mean?
joke.
Exactly. He's just beyond this door.
I would much rather the
wanna
show
get
be about
stronger?
Mirio
Walk on through.
Got
and
it.
Deku.
The building itself, it's safe to presume
That's
that
a
some
big
sort of
room
fight
with a
went
whole
down
lot
there.
of nothing
It's
in
most
it.
likely the League of Villains.
Heyo, I brought that first year
How
dude I mentioned
rude. They
yesterday.
didn't even knock.
Sir Night Eye's agency. Let's see what kind of place
They
this
didn't
is.
ask, hey, can I come in? Or anything.
But from this moment on, I need to open the doors myself.
Can she just pull that down a little bit lower? Just like 2 inches.
In order to become the #1 hero.
I'm Izuku Midoriya.
Eat this.
Are you ridiculing All Might?
Yeah, I mean, he's All Might's former,
He's not funny.
sidekick. I don't really know what to make of this episode. I wasn't really, intrigued by it at all. It felt weird the way that they changed their approach to comedy. Like, comedy has always kind of been like this, but it was more balanced with other types of humor. They really went all in with this episode, and considering this is the first episode of the season, if you don't include the actual first episode, it's kind of weird, really. I don't know. It's especially not good for me since I'm not interested in this kind of humor. Typical anime humor doesn't really appeal to me all that much. I can't. Did I laugh or genuinely smile at all? The most fun I had in this episode was with Mirio's face, because in his personality, he's just so enthusiastic and just happy, and he's like a Kirby but in human form, you know? That's the most fun I had with this episode, and there wasn't much plot here, just setup really. The most important thing that really happened in this episode was all the stuff between Overhaul and Tomura. I mean, I guess that Maggie, I think, was the name. I guess Maggie's dead. It was kind of sudden, I guess, especially since a lot of fans, not as much as like Crazy Chick, why can't I remember her name right now, or Twice, but Maggie had quite a few fans. It's weird that we didn't even know who the other person who died was on the other side. I didn't even get a look at them, didn't see what their quirk was. They just died. It was weird. I didn't feel anything during that mutual death scene. It just happened. And I was expecting there to be some sort of twist, like, hi, it didn't really happen or something. But no, they're just dead. It's weird. It doesn't feel important at all. I mean, I guess that was a way of trying to add stakes to it, but when you choose a character that we've never even seen before, we barely saw for 2 seconds before they died, we don't know anything about, and a character that people did like, but who's barely in the show, who wasn't liked as much as their teammates, when you choose those two people to die, not really impactful, doesn't really have a lot of stakes. Just feels kind of cheap, really. Makes both of their deaths seem pretty pointless, especially since it's just that, that whole scene wasn't that whole interaction wasn't handled the best way. Overhaul just shouldn't have even bothered trying to team up with Tomura. He should have just laid down the law, showed Tomura what it really means to have a league of villains. But alas, now we're gonna have some sort of turf war or whatever. And I guess we're supposed to be cheering for Tomura. I just don't like him. I don't like him as a character, and I definitely don't like him as a villain. I don't take him seriously as a villain. After All for One got sent to prison, um, there was a moment when Tomura was like, "Oh, I'm not gonna be childish anymore." And then in that same moment, All for One was talking, just thinking to himself, but also he said some similar things when he was talking to All Might about how he'll go down as a martyr for Tomura and inspire him to reach his full potential now, and he'll grow up and handle things on his own. Yeah, that still hasn't happened. As Overhaul said, a goal without a plan is just a wish. It's at this point, it's been, I don't know, at least half a year just since the beginning of the show. Maybe a full year now, I don't know. But Tomura hasn't really accomplished much on his own. And it doesn't seem like he's really trying to. It's just wishful thinking. I don't like him as a villain or a character or anything really. I don't want anything to do with him. I've always felt that the villains in the show are pretty weak. Not in terms of power, but in terms of character. They're just not. I just don't like the villains. The only villain I liked was Stain, Hero Killer Stain. He was more of a vigilante than an outright villain. And Overhaul, I might like him. I at the very least like him more than any of the villains we have right now. Because he actually seems like a threat. He actually seems like he can get stuff done. Like he can actually make a difference. Like he can actually raise up the criminal world and just really give the heroes a run for their money. But and I am more interested in learning about his ragtag team of criminals. They seemed interesting, at least. But that was the only really interesting part of the episode. Everything else was just, it didn't appeal to me. It was just, I don't know, the humor in this episode did not hit me at all. The only time in this entire show that the humor has hit me has been, sometimes Bakugo, just by how not typical hero-like he is, just by how murderous he can be, but also just dry humor, often with Shoto. Those are the only times I've laughed. I definitely don't ever laugh at Mineta, ever. I hate him. And the sort of typical anime humor that they've had all episode, I've never been interested in that, especially since it is so common across anime. It's often a cheap way to lighten the mood instead of actually. It's just a really easy way to lighten the mood. It's like in anime when a boy falls on the girl he likes. That's a cheap way of getting them to kiss or gaze into each other's eyes, realize they're alive, whatever. It's super cheap and overused and annoying. And the same thing for a lot of the comedy in this episode. Same exact thing. It's cheap, overused, and annoying. But yeah, there wasn't much plot this episode, which I don't know. That's weird because this is actually the second episode of the season, and we haven't really had much happen except for on the villain front. And I agree with All Might. Why are these freshmen doing internships? No, no, no. It wasn't even internships. It was work studies. Why are they doing work studies? It, that's something that's been bothering me about the show for a while. It's the pacing of everything. It'd be pretty easy to make them sophomores right now, or juniors, I guess. There's no sophomore in Japan. It'd be pretty easy to make them juniors right now. Just say that some time has passed. But they've been freshmen for, like, this is only like the second half of the school year right now, just starting. But they've been freshmen for the entirety of the show. It's really weird how all of this is happening all at once, condensed. It makes, and yeah, it's fantasy, it's anime, whatever, but it still makes it unbelievable that all of this is happening all at once. It's just because you have to think. So by the time they are seniors, what are they? Are they all going to be pro heroes by that time? Are they already gonna have the world at their fingertips? Like, if they can do all of this in just like 6 months or however long it's been, where are they gonna be at the end of their 3 years of high school? A lot of gripes. Like I said, ever since last season, this really has become a typical shonen. And it's disappointing, because like I said in the last episode, I really liked season 1, and I liked most of season 2. The Stain, the Ida wanting justice for his brother plot, that was super typical and predictable. But even within that, it added some character development. This show has potential to be one of the most unique shows ever. And it keeps falling into these tropes that it doesn't need. It does not need these tropes to support it. These tropes hinder it. And yeah, a lot of people are gonna give me flack because, oh my god, My Hero Academia is the best anime ever. How dare you not say everything positive about it? It's amazing. It's not, though. I mean, it was, but now it's just so generic. And you saying, oh, well, wait till this thing happened that happened in the manga. That doesn't make up for it being generic right now. Season 3, God. I actually contemplated to stop watching the show during season 3 because it had become so typical, and I don't want to watch the same show over and over again just with different titles and different character names. Don't even get me started on Deku. But the last couple of episodes of last season kept me going. I was like, maybe it'll get better. I'll see what season 4 has. Season 4 isn't looking up. People said season 4 and 5 would be the best seasons, but if what they mean by that is that they'll be the most typical shonen seasons, then I'm not interested. If the show keeps going down this road, I don't know if I'll keep watching it, because the only thing keeping me watching right now is the characters. Not even all the characters, just some of the characters. I'm not... The villains interest me absolutely to no degree. The heroes... I don't know, I'm hoping we'll see more of the pro heroes, because a lot of them have just become like support characters for a joke or just something. All Might is down. He's just he's not, his hero form is done with. Deku has been annoying me so very much this last season and maybe a half. I liked Deku in season 1. I had my gripes with him, but I at least liked him. I don't like him anymore. I can't, like, every scene with him is so predictable. It leads into some motivational speech of, oh, I know I'm weak now, but I'm gonna become the greatest I can be. I'm gonna become the next symbol of peace. Shut up. Do you ever say anything else? It's the same kind of speech you would find in any other shonen protagonist. It's so unoriginal, which is why I said I'd rather have Mirio as as um as the protagonist of the show, because at least he has a personality that isn't a typical male protagonist of a shonen personality. And a big thing about Mirio that annoys me about Deku is that when Mirio was feeling that his ability was useless, when he felt that he couldn't do much, when he felt that he was weak, he did something about it. He didn't just mope around, complain about not having certain abilities, about not being able to do stuff, then try to enroll into UA and just hope without any kind of training at all that he'd get in. And then magically All Might shows up, gives him his hair, and then now all of a sudden he wants to be the best. No, Mirio decided for himself from the beginning. Not from the beginning, but he decided for himself. You know what? My quirk, it's not very great. There's a lot of disadvantages. I can't even breathe with it, but I want to be a hero. I genuinely want to be a hero. So I'm going to work at it. I'm going to find a way to make it work. I am going to find a way to use this ability to help save people and become the greatest that I can be. He decided that on his own without needing some hair from All Might. And if he were quirkless, I have no doubt he would have done the same thing. I have no doubt he would have said, okay, I don't have a quirk, but I can still heighten myself, my physical prowess, to become the best person that I can be so I can help others. Deku, on the other hand, he's quirkless his entire life, but still wants to be a hero. And then it's only when he gets a quirk that all of a sudden he's pushing himself. That's part of why I don't feel it when he says, "Oh, I'm gonna be stronger. I want to be the best," because it's like you didn't do anything to become stronger up till this point. I just I'm hoping this season will turn out alright. The show has so much potential. If season 1 and prior to season 2 were they were great because they weren't they had some typical shonen moments in there, but every time you thought it was going to turn into a typical shonen, the show said, nope, ha, gotcha, actually we're doing this. It's disappointing. If I had started watching the show with season 3 or with the first 2 episodes that I watched of season 4, I would not have continued watching it. I absolutely would not have. It's disappointing. I mean, I guess I can look forward to Bakugo. Basically, everyone who isn't the main character or the pervert Minera. I can basically look forward to everyone else getting stronger. That's all I can look forward to right now. Just every character except every hero. I don't care about the villains. Every hero except the main character and the pervert. I can look forward to them getting stronger, learning more about their quirks, learning more about themselves, getting character development, hopefully. And that's it. That's all I can look forward to. That's not something I even need to watch every episode to see, really. Especially since it's mostly going to be focused on Deku becoming the next symbol of peace. Anyway, people are gonna hate me for the last like 15 minutes of stuff I just said, but yeah, that's where I stand right now. I'm just hoping that something draws me in, because so far with these past two episodes, I don't. I have no motivation to go on to the third episode. There's nothing to make me want to watch the third episode. They ended off on a cliffhanger of, oh my god, did Deku make this guy laugh? Like, I don't care if he did or not. I feel that's your cliffhanger, really? That's your cliffhanger? You know, I saw what the rough drafts of My Hero Academia were, the original versions. And I gotta say, I like that protagonist more than Deku, but you know, gotta give the people what they want, and they want more of the same thing. So